Today, we are going to talk about 5 benefits that I felt after retention. Hey guys, it's your friend. I'm here to tell you all about hair, skincare, body, and overall health and wellness. And today we're going to be talking about the 5th benefit that I noticed from doing retention. If you guys haven't seen my other videos about this, you can go ahead and check those out after this one. But basically, I went from bald to this in 18 months, and I'm going to tell you guys everything that I learned along the way. So let's get right into the benefits. The first thing that I noticed was an increase in confidence. Now, before retention, I had a very low self-esteem, and I was always trying to hide my head because I didn't like how it looked. I was always wearing hats or beanies or do-rags. You name it. I just didn't want people to see my head because I was so ashamed of it. My own family members would make fun of me for being bald, so that really hurt me. And then I started researching online and found out that I could start retaining. So I did, and I started seeing results after the first month. And when I saw those results, I wanted to continue doing it. And as time went by, my confidence started building up. Like I started feeling better about myself, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. This is because I realized that I'm in control of my own life. No one else is going to do it for me, and that's a great feeling. It feels good to know that if something doesn't feel right, or if you don't like the way that things are going, you can change them yourself without having to rely on anyone else. This newfound sense of confidence has helped me in all areas of my life, not just my physical appearance. For example, I am more likely to speak up in meetings at work, and I am more likely to stand up for myself when I feel like I need to. Overall, I just feel better about myself now that I've retained. The second thing that I noticed was that my scalp became much more sensitive. Before retention, I could go a long time without feeling the need to moisturize my scalp. However, once I began retaining, I noticed that my scalp would become dry and itchy if I didn't moisturize it regularly. I also noticed that my scalp would become much more sensitive to the products that I used. What I mean by that is certain products that I used to use would cause my scalp to become irritated and would lead to excessive shedding. Once I stopped using those products and started using more natural oils and butters, my scalp became much less sensitive and my hair started growing back in, thick and healthy. Now, there are a lot of different reasons why this could have happened, but I believe that it's because my scalp was no longer being suffocated by the braids that I used to keep in my hair. I've talked about this in a previous video, but I highly suggest avoiding tight hairstyles because they can lead to traction, alopecia. And that's what was happening to me. I was getting mini cowlicks in certain areas of my scalp because the braids were so tight. So when I switched to retention, my scalp was able to breathe and heal. The third benefit that I noticed was thicker hair. When I first started retaining, I noticed that my hair started growing and much thicker than it had been before. I had patches of my hair that were super thin, but after a few months of retaining, those patches filled in and my hair looked much fuller. This could be because when you shave your head bald, you remove all of the damaged hair, which allows new growth to come in. In addition, when you retain, you're giving your hair a chance to rest and recover from all of the damage that it sustained over the years. This is especially important if you've had a relaxer or perm, colored your hair, heat styled it, or just generally mistreated it. When your hair is in its shrunken state, it's much more vulnerable to damage. So it needs a break from styling and manipulation. Retaining gives your hair that much needed rest. It also helps to improve circulation to the scalp, which promotes hair growth. When your scalp is massaged during the retention process, blood flows to the area and brings nutrients that help your hair grow. The final reason why retaining can give you thicker hair is because it causes you to be more mindful of how you treat your hair. After you shave your head bald, you realize just how fragile it is and you take better care of it. The fourth benefit that I noticed was an increase in creativity. Now, I'm not sure if this is just something that happened to me or if it happens to other people too, but I noticed that after I shaved my head bald, I started coming up with some of my best ideas. I started writing down these ideas, and then I would put them on sticky notes around my house or office. I even set reminders on my phone so that I wouldn't forget them. Now, I do not know if it's because I was distracted by the fact that I had no hair on my head, or if it's because I was spending more time alone with my thoughts. But either way, I noticed that my creativity increased. If you're an artist of any kind, I highly recommend trying retention. You might be surprised at the creative burst that it brings to you. The fifth and final benefit that I noticed was that my hair became much stronger. As I mentioned earlier, my hair was extremely fragile before I started retaining. It was always breaking off, and I was losing clumps of it every day. But after I started retaining, I noticed that my hair became much stronger and less prone to breakage. Now, there are a couple of reasons why this happens. The first reason is that when you retain, you remove all of the damaged hair and start fresh with new growth. The second reason is that when you spend time in the sunlight, your hair is exposed to UV radiation, which makes it stronger. The third reason is that when you retain, you're stimulating your scalp. which increases blood flow and brings nutrients to your hair follicles. All of these factors contribute to stronger hair that's less prone to breakage. Now, these are just the 5 benefits that I personally noticed. There are probably many other benefits to retaining that I didn't mention. That's why I encourage you to try it out for yourself and see how you feel afterwards. If you're considering retaining, I highly recommend watching my detailed guide on how to do it. You can find the video link below. In that video, I go into detail about everything you need to know, including how often you should moisturize while retaining, how to minimize shedding, and so much more. So if you're interested in retaining, make sure to watch that video next. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload. Also, make sure to follow us on social media for updates and giveaways. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.